Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the People's Choice Podcast. I missed you all. It's been what, about 2 weeks, little over 2 weeks now, since the last guest. And I have a really special one here. I'm extremely excited for this. I've known this man for a really long time, and I've been watching him on Facebook, posting him just playing guitar, going through songs, and I'm just so honored that he decided, well, at least agreed, to be on the show, get to know him more. He's a part of an amazing band called 10 O'Clock High. I'm so happy to have him here. My boy, Isaac Ward.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm surprised you asked you. I was like, I was watching you post for a couple of years, and I went back and watched a couple podcasts and stuff like that, and I was like, man, he's really good at this. And I was just like really flattered you asked, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like, honestly, the honor is really all mine. Like, I mean, I've known you since, man, maybe middle school, maybe.
Yeah,
I know
sounds about
definitely.
right.
Yeah, I'll say definitely like either eighth or ninth grade.
Yeah.
And I've always admired your grind, man. I remember seeing you even before you joined, this band, seeing you playing before, and always, just telling you how good you are, man, and just always was grinding, loving music. So when I actually started this podcast, I originally this is a fun fact before we get started. You were actually like number like 5 on my list. Like, I
No
gotta
way.
get,
That's
yeah,
that's
like,
cool.
because I love this show, love to people, especially
Mm,
local, the people I
mm.
grew up with. And I was like, man, I gotta get Isaac on here, and it just escaped. I started getting these requests, things started happening. Then I'm like, okay, before, like, when I saw your post about you're gonna take a little break from social media, I was
Mm.
like, I gotta get Isaac on before he takes this break because it's truly an honor,
Yeah.
man.
No, thanks. That's awesome. Like I said, I'm flattered. I'm excited to be on here, and like I said, I've seen you've been doing this for a couple of years, and you're coming up on your anniversary, right? The
Yep,
26th, is that right?
yep,
September
26.
26th.
Yep, be
Yeah,
2 years since I've been doing this.
that's awesome, and
It's
it's awesome
crazy.
that you've been so consistent with it too. Because I know, a lot of times people start doing stuff like this, and they're like, "Oh, it's not going the way I wanted it to," so I kind of chill out. But it just shows you really love doing it, and
Yes.
not just doing it even just to get views or whatever, but doing because you actually enjoy it and enjoy interviewing people and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yes, I truly enjoy the journey, man, and the ride, and just hearing, the ups, the downs,
Mm,
like I just love it all. And there's times where I know I took a break off, a couple weeks coming off now, and then I took another break, just going through a lot of stuff,
mm.
But I
I
always was
understand that.
like, I gotta get back to it, man, because I love my peeps. I love,
Mm,
just talking to people, man.
mm.
I truly love this. And speaking of that, you truly love music, and that's I always like starting off my interviews of just growing up and what was it like. So did you grow up in Harnett County too, or were you born here, or were you born
Yeah,
New
so
York?
I grew up in Broadway, but it was like weird because it was Harnett County, Lee County line. So I
Mhm.
actually because Broadway and Sanford is are really weird as far as because it's right in between Sanford or excuse me Harnett County and Lee County. So like were technically in Broadway, which was majority Harnett County, but it was Lee County that we were technically in. So I ended up going to Lee Christian school in Sanford for up till 6th grade, and then I moved over to Western at that point because we moved and all that stuff. So yeah,
Awesome.
grew up, and then my dad played guitar a little bit, and he was showing me some stuff when I was younger, and I never really got serious about it till I was about 11 or 12, somewhere around there. And yeah, I mean, after I kind of I had some people like uh you know showing me how to do stuff and really mentoring me to start out with. Anyways, had one of my sister's boyfriends at the time was a lead guitarist in a band, and he started showing me some stuff, and I just fell in love like
Mhm.
with everything. He showed me some Led Zeppelin stuff, and I think it was the Heartbreaker solo from Led Zeppelin is like
Oh.
if you haven't heard it, it's one of the most insane solos. Like it just nothing sounded like it, and I just really like got hooked from then. And I guess I was kind of already hooked a little bit, but that was like I have to learn everything that I can kind of thing. So,
Definitely, man, and it's so cool that you said Led Zeppelin because the few bands that I've had on and members like that's always like one of their like
mm,
top,
yeah, yeah.
like people that influence them. So I was gonna ask
Mm.
who are some of your influences, and you said Led Zeppelin. You had any more?
Yeah, so early on it was actually AC/DC. I loved Angus Young like so much, and luckily, you know, a lot of these bands are like really old, and there was like basically no chance of me seeing any of them live. But AC/DC actually went on it was like their last good tour out, quote unquote, before they got really old, and it was the Black Ice tour, and my dad actually was able to take me to that, and that was like the coolest thing. It was, it was just surreal because it was like my favorite band. That's all I listened to. I was like, 11, around 10, 11, 12 years old. So like that's all I was listening to was like AC/DC mainly, and it was just awesome, and it was probably the loudest concert that I've been to as well.
Mhm.
Like we had to go outside for a little bit because I got nauseous because it was so loud. But I mean, it was
Wow.
awesome, but it was like so loud, but it was really cool. And then later I got into well, a lot of it was like 90s grunge and early 2000s rock and stuff like that. I really liked that starting off. Like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and bands like that. And then eventually I started to get into more singer-songwriter type people. And I don't know if I got tired of, I think I just got tired of the same kind of thing over and over, as far as the same style of music. And I still enjoy that music, but it was just, I needed something new. So I don't remember how exactly I got into John Mayer, but
Hey,
I
shout out
remember
to
my
John Mayer.
first John Mayer's band. He's probably my favorite, um, just because he has such a wide range of
Mhm.
stuff. Every album is different than the last one. And I don't remember. I remember. So you remember the Cars movie, the first Cars movie?
Oh yeah, I love the cars.
So he did a song on the soundtrack. It was he did a cover of Route 66, um, and that was my first, I think, really uh, first interaction with John Mayer. And then I don't know why, I don't know how I exactly got into him, but you know, for a while there, that's all I was like cared about was John Mayer, and I like just focusing on like learning as much stuff as I can from him. And it got to the point where um, he plays like Strat style guitars, and I also played that because he played it, and some other heroes played those kind of guitars. And I got to the point where I was learning so much when I would go to Guitar Center or something. People would come up to me be like, "Hey, you sound like John Mayer." I'm like, "Cool." And then it got like to a point where I was like, "Okay, well, I sound like John Mayer, but I need to start sounding like me." So I ended up
Gotcha.
forcing myself to play different kinds of guitars, and that helps a lot because a Strat is like just a Strat sound, and there's not really anything else like it. So that's one thing too, is when you creatively you get in a rut, you can switch guitars or, you
Mhm.
know, do something different with your pedals or, do a bunch of different stuff. But that was, he was probably a big one and still is a big one. And then other like smaller artists like, this guy, his name's Joey Landreth. He's really good. He's one of my favorites. He's a slide guitar player. And I actually, when I lived in Nashville for a year, I actually got to see him,
Oh wow,
and
awesome.
it was super cool. I got to meet him and everything. It was super small. Oh, and something else. When I also the same venue, David Ryan Harris, which I don't know if you know who David Ryan Harris is, but
Not too
He's
familiar, but I'll put him in the video.
yeah, yeah. So he's John Mayer's like rhythm guitar player, and he's been with him for years and years and years. But he does his own solo stuff as well. I actually got to meet him and see him play in Nashville and everything too. That was like surreal. I was like, I didn't ask him about John Mayer or anything because I was like, I can't come to his show and then ask about his employer essentially.
Yeah, right.
but but yeah, he makes great stuff too. But yeah, just I don't know. I kind of gotten into a lot of different styles of music and learning from a bunch of different styles. And I think that's important too. Is just
Mhm.
not just playing what you like, but you know, pushing yourself and stretching yourself
Yes,
to learn
constantly
yeah.
constantly evolving, and that's so
Hmm.
cool. Like, so shout out to John Mayer, because like I think only this is the second time he's been mentioned like as an influencer on the
Mm,
podcast. And it's
mm,
funny you say that Cars was the first time you introduced to him, because
mm,
I didn't even know that until
yeah,
you just told me. Like, my first time hearing John Mayer
yeah,
was who says I can't get stoned. You know, like remember
yeah,
that song? You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
used to listen to that song all the time. And
yeah.
yeah, man, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that he inspired you, and I could definitely see some similarities
Mm,
there, man.
mm. Yeah, and a lot of his story too was I just it was interested. I'm big into history, and I've always loved history, and I think that's one of the things that always gets me attached to artists or really anything is learning history behind it, and that makes it more, regardless if it's good or if it's bad, I will be somewhat attached to it just because the history is cool behind something. So
True that, man. Shout out to us history buffs, man. I know you've been playing since you were 11, and you said from your dad. So did your dad teach you how to play guitar, or was it something that you were like self taught, or did some music classes? Like, how did you really start to learn it?
yeah, so he taught me a few chords and stuff like that, and then I started taking lessons a little bit. I only took like 2 or 3 lessons, and I think just the way that my brain is wired, it makes more sense for me to learn by myself. And until YouTube started becoming a big thing. So there's a guy on YouTube. If anybody wants to learn how to play guitar, Marty Schwartz is like the man. He's been around for like, well, since I was 11 or 12, and he's literally had like he's basically taught me how to play guitar essentially um for a good while. Like that's him and a couple other people on YouTube. It was a lot of YouTube stuff. And then too, just learning. I think because I had a little bit of the fundamentals from my dad teaching me, I didn't
Mhm.
struggle as much on some stuff that if somebody was starting completely from scratch kind of thing. Um, and yeah, I mean, it was a lot of self-taught and it was a mix of a bunch of different things. So a lot of it was YouTube though.
That's awesome, man. Because yeah, I mean, I remember for years, man. You would post videos of you just playing, and like no matter if it was acoustic or if it was electric, like you were just killing it. And I was like, man, and as the years progressed, you just seen how much you improved, and I would love to at least put some of that in this video to show my peeps and new audience, just the growth that you have really
Mm-hmm.
shown. And that's why I was like, man, I'm truly honored to have you on the show, man,
Oh,
for real.
thanks, man. Means a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man. So at what moment did you realize that you wanted to pursue music as a career, not just like just playing with friends or as a hobby?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those like childhood dream type things, and
Hmm.
you start out, and there's a certain point where you have to kind of make a decision of, okay, do I want to do this or do I want to do something that I'm not going to enjoy as much? And I remember specifically, I was working and I basically paid my first semester of community. I went to CCCC, and I paid my first semester of college, and I was gonna go do electrical engineering. And I was working full time and going to school, and
Ooh, it's a grind, man.
as
That is a
yeah,
grind.
man,
Oh.
it's, and the really rough part about it was my schedule was it was basically after I got out of school, I would go to work and I would work until like 1:30, something like that in the morning.
Hmm.
And then I would go home and then I'd be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, or I have to be at school at 8 o'clock some mornings.
Ooh, man.
And yeah, and like I know some people can do that, but it was just rough on me trying to do that. I wasn't getting any sleep. I was having um awful dreams, like not just nightmares, but like when you like don't have good sleep for multiple days or weeks in a row, it gets your dreams get more and more vivid because you're immediately going into that deep sleep,
Hmm.
and then you're not really getting rest because you're basically awake in your dream kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I was like that, and basically, long story short, I um, just felt it on my heart really bad that I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to do music, and I basically woke my mom up like at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but like I have to do music. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And I think I came up with some random plan to, you know, to ease her mind a little bit that I had some sort of a plan, but I really didn't. I was just,
All or nothing,
I had
mom.
to do it. Yeah, yeah. Like I had to figure something out, and I would say there, and then even then, it took me a while to still like really take that step to really do it, and it was, I mean, it's even after you say that you're going to do something, sometimes it takes a while for you to get uh, in the position to be able to do it, and
Hmm.
not just the position, but knowing the right people, because I don't know if you know, music's real hard to do by yourself. You got to have a bunch of people and
Yeah.
connections and stuff like that. So that's been one thing that I've learned is knowing the right people, but also being, just being in general a good person because people don't want to play with you if you're not nice. Um,
That's so true, and especially coming from like a small town that
mm,
we come from.
mm,
It is really hard to break out and
mm,
get those connections,
mm.
and it's amazing that you was able to still find a way. And I
Yeah, I
just
mean,
oh yeah, go ahead.
it was just like very, I mean, a lot of, I mean, all of it was God anyways, because literally I just didn't know who, and like even if I knew people, I was
Hmm.
like, they're not gonna want to play with me. They're not gonna want to play with me, that kind of thing. And you
Hmm.
kind of talk down to yourself,
Hmm.
and you know, then I would have people reach out to me. John Norris was is one that would he probably would come on here too if you wanted to. I bet he would. I don't know if do you know John Norris?
I've heard of him. I've heard of him. I think we
Okay,
got
so
like a crap ton of mutual friends too.
yeah, so he went to Western, but he's doing country music and stuff like that now, and he's doing a decent amount of stuff. Um, but yeah, he we met at in high school, and then after I graduated, he
Mhm.
I don't can't remember. He probably can remember, but I can't remember exactly how we got to talking about doing a band and everything like that. And then I was with Norris for about I think 2 years or so, and then I moved to Nashville for a year. But um, yeah, that was. I
Can we
mean,
talk about your time in Nashville? Like
yeah,
what was that like? Coming from Harnett County, Broadway, Lee County to going
yeah,
to the Music City, man.
yeah. So Nashville's really weird. It's probably cliche to say this, but it's really a small town. Like it's a big small town. Like it doesn't when you go, it doesn't feel like a big city. In some aspects, it does, but a lot of times it's just like everybody knows each other for the most part. Well, I wouldn't say everybody knows each other, but a lot of people know each other, like just from playing around and stuff like that. And I actually didn't really play any in Nashville. I wasn't really trying to do anything. I Part of it was work too. Me and my dad moved out there, and just because there wasn't at the time there wasn't anything around here that was really paying anything
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So we moved down there, and always loved Nashville area and Tennessee in general. And we moved down there, and I kind of didn't have a specific goal in mind. I just know that I wanted to grow.
Mhm.
So I played just about every day for at least an hour for the most part. I mean, I tried my best to really hone in on that. And I don't know that I necessarily needed to move all the way to Nashville to do that, but I think having space and everything, and being somewhat alone for that too is, you know, helps that, and it helps you, I think, get to know yourself a little more, and stuff like that. And then, it was definitely a difficult time too, because my wife, now we were dating, and um, I moved out there while she was still here, and we did that and for the year, and I'm surprised that she she stayed for that long. But I mean, we talked every day as well, so we made sure, and when she got off work, or when I was going to work, she was getting off work, so we would be able to talk on the phone. So I was working like night shift, and it was so we could talk.
Awesome,
We
man.
talked every day, so, and I think that was the one thing that made it good was we were able to talk all the time and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But yeah, I
I,
mean,
I love
it
a good love
was,
story, man. That's awesome, bro. That's so cool, man.
and but yeah, I mean, it was it was both a hard time and uh, but it was a growing time. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It was a season. I grew a lot, not just in my musicianship, but just as a person and stuff. You have to, when you get pushed out there to be your own adult kind of thing. You learn a lot more, and you're like, okay, well,
mm.
you learn what you like and what you don't like, and what you're able to put up with, and that kind of stuff. So
That's so true. Like change of scenery, I advise all my peeps to go through that, man. Because like
mm,
you'll be surprised at the growth that you really get, or they say the lack of growth by staying in your hometown
mm,
for so long, and just sometimes the amazing people you get to meet, or even things that you never even knew you had interest in.
mm,
Sometimes change of scenery just brings it out to light. So
yeah,
glad you was able
and
to discover yourself a little, out there.
yeah, yeah, and definitely. And the other thing too is, you know, it's funny because one of the reasons I've taken a step back from social media so I can focus on other things and actually do things, because I always wanted to try to read more my Bible and stuff like that, and I was reading, I think it was Matthew, but either Matthew or Mark, and Jesus was like I'm the son of God, and I'm hated in my own hometown kind of thing. So it's one of those things where, like, even people that watch you grow up and stuff, they that have seen everything, and if you've done anything, um or whoever your parents are and stuff like that, they know who you are, and they have an idea of who you are. And sometimes that's, well, they're not going to be anything because of who their parents were, or you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean, that kind of thing. And I think getting out of that, where people don't know your background or anything, is a good way to, like, give yourself a little more self-confidence, because it's not really, it's people that have a preconceived notion of who you are, and
Mm-hmm.
people that don't, they have a different opinion, because it's the first time they've met you. You're
Yeah.
not the same person you used to be. And um yeah.
That's some real advice right there for real. And like you're saying, change the scenery. Yeah, people
mm,
can't judge you because of your parents or family or
mm,
reputation that you've had before.
mm,
It's like they gotta judge you by your action. A new
mm,
new place, new area. So that's really cool, and that's deep.
mm.
I can't wait to put that into a reel. For real. So let's talk about you joining the extremely talented band 10 O'Clock High. And I've heard a lot about 10 O'Clock High. And this probably around like 20, maybe 18, 19, when I was really starting to hear a lot about you
Mm.
guys. And I've always known you played, bro. But when I saw that you was with them, and I was talking with, shout out to you, boy Riley, and we were talking about the band, we were going to the festival and all that, and I
Mm.
was like, hold, wait a minute. I looked at you guys' picture, and I put it up there too in the video. Like, wait, that's Isaac. I was like, holy shit! I was like, that's so cool. So
Yeah, so
yeah, can you,
it's
can
a
you
really
explain the
funny story.
process on that?
Yeah, so they had a band, like, started. It's one of my best friends, Trey, and one of my other best friends, or one of my good friends, Mike, and Mike. It's funny because so my name's Isaac Ward. The other guitar player is Mike Ward, and then the bass player was Mike Wallace. So it was like before they would just call Mike Ward, and other one would just be Mike. But now they can't call Mike Ward because that's also me. And but anyways, it was a funny thing. But no, so I came back from Nashville, and the other guitar player, Sam Llewellyn, moved, and he was still a part of the band kind of thing, but he wasn't going to be like active because obviously he moved.
Mhm.
And I was just in the right place at the right time kind of thing, and they had their EP release. I can't remember when it was, but I mean, obviously, I was good friends with Trey and everything, so I was, there. And then
Mhm.
I was when I came back from Nashville, I found out they didn't have the other guitar player. I was like, "Hey, do you guys need another guitar player?" And so eventually, we got to practicing and stuff like that, and then um, writing some stuff, and yeah, and it was really fun. Yeah, I mean, it was just another one of those things where it was right place, right time kind of thing. So.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was like, "Holy crap! Ice Scare part of this band is awesome!" Like I've heard about them a lot, especially
Mm,
around in our area,
mm.
and I'm just like, "Wow, this is really cool," And then seeing you guys at the festival, I mean, it was really awesome, man, for real.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely been the my most favorite music I've been a part of as far as writing process, and even just being a part of it has been awesome.
Awesome, man. I always ask like bands or band members, this question because I just love the answer sometimes I get. So, like, what's a funny or crazy story that you've had with the band so far?
So the pictures, all the pictures we have, if I don't know if you look on Instagram or Facebook or wherever they're at,
Oh yeah.
um, the Revolution promo video too. That was all above our practice. So there's a building that we practiced in, and I don't know. I guess it was kind of abandoned, like up to the very top of the top floor was abandoned or something. There wasn't really anything up there, and there was no lights or anything. So we went up there like after practice because we were just trying to maybe figure out what's up there to be able to practice or not practice, but take pictures, like some cool pictures. Basically, have cool scenery besides the stereotypical like Sanford railroad track pictures.
Yeah.
So we wanted to try to do something different, and we went up there and found some really cool stuff. There was it's like a little closet area that had that light bulb hanging up.
Yep. Yep.
So that was probably one of the cool things that was doing that was really fun. I don't know if there's really a whole lot of like funny stuff
Hmm.
besides just doing like uh, just dumb stuff while practicing. Like, uh, so Trey plays drums too, and every once in a while he would hop on drums and we would just be messing around. And he does this thing, and he did the same thing. Trey was also in the band with Norris for a while. He played drums for Norris, and he would do this thing where he would be off, like he would get off one beat just to throw everybody. Like he would basically take one beat out. So instead of say if the measure was supposed to be 4/4, he would take one out and make
Hmm.
it 3/4 and just throw everybody off. And it was just the funniest thing because he would do it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's really like any really funny things that happen. I mean, it was always fun, enjoyed time practicing and stuff like that. And but I mean, it was always like just doing dumb stuff while practicing, like just playing stupid stuff. Like you know, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just we would just do random stuff practicing, and it's one of those things that the joke would go longer than it was supposed to, which made it more funny.
That's awesome, man. So what can my peeps and the new audience and world can expect from you guys? Any projects you guys currently working on or EPs
I
coming out
don't
possibly?
I don't think so. I think actually that festival was probably our last gig.
Mhm.
As 10 o'clock high anyways. I don't know if well, I don't know. We'll see what happens with if we do anything else as far as writing and stuff like that. But I think right now that was the last gig right now for the foreseeable future.
Okay, awesome. I can't wait to put this out there and hopefully hear you guys, because I mean you guys are really good. Even your cover stuff is even awesome too. I mean, plus high praises for you guys, man, for real. I'm
Thanks.
so
Thanks.
happy see you out there and just doing your thing and doing what you love, man. There's too many people out here that's not doing what they love. So like
Mm,
when I start interviewing, I just think about that. Like besides crazy work week or family issues
mm,
or health or whatever, I'm like,
mm,
I'm about to do something I really love to do, and not many people can say
mm,
that. And to
mm.
see you do that too, it's awesome, man.
Thanks.
So I got a couple staple questions. Well, actually, a few staple questions, but that I love to ask all my guests, and just to see like their answers because I do love the answers that I get. So this one's going to be the hidden talent one. For all my peeps, they know this one. So, what is a hidden talent that your friends, family, or even fans may not even know about you?
I well, I don't know if it's that hidden because I post every once in a while about it, but I love to cook. Like, and think I'm pretty good at it. I put it this way, my wife was pretty picky eater and stuff like that, and it was got to the point where I was like, I would figure out what she wouldn't like, and then I would put it in the food that I was making, just to because either it was a if she hadn't had it or she hadn't had it like in a good way, like the way
like,
the way it
baby,
was
you ain't
prepared
had
was
it like I had it, or how
yeah
I make it.
yeah
Like
yeah and yeah, and really quarantine. I cooked a little bit in Nashville, but when I came back and
Mhm.
quarantine happened, it was like, well, we can't go out to eat anymore. And then it
Mhm.
was first started with like chicken Alfredo because we always used to go to uh, Chili's to get the Cajun
Mhm.
Alfredo pasta, and that was kind of our thing. It was a 2 for 20 like date night kind of thing we always did, and then we couldn't go do that, so we were like, well, we're gonna make it ourselves, and um, I started doing that, and then it just grew into other things. I watched a lot of YouTube's like one of my favorite resources just of all time, but
Shout out to YouTube.
um, yeah, um,
Subscribe.
yeah,
you know.
and but like binging with Babish and just my other YouTube channels, I would see stuff and like I'm gonna try that, and it's just gotten to be something that I really really love to do, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I've gotten good enough where I can make a pasta just about with anything. You give me a
Awesome.
meat and just enough stuff to make a sauce with, I'm can make just about anything pasta wise. So,
I was actually I had a deer for like the first time in many years, and I made it like use that as my meat instead
mm,
of just like
mm,
traditional ground beef or
mm.
whatever, and it was delicious. So I understand what you're saying, man.
Yeah,
Can't go
yeah. I
wrong
mean
with pasta.
that last little bit of like before you go to the grocery store and you're trying to make what you got last
Oh
is
yeah.
like all right, well, I got this. Oh, I forgot I had this kind of thing, and yeah, and just making stuff with whatever you got left, and that's really fun too. Just you know, I
Mhm.
like limiting myself to you know grow with like not just the cooking, but like in music and everything. If you limit yourself a little bit, um, you don't have as many tools to use. You can get better at using those tools and in basics too. Like you
Mhm.
know, no.
That's so cool, man. And another staple question I love to ask because the answers I get are just amazing. So I'm a quote guy. I mean, probably see like from my walls and don't forget the root stuff. Like, I mean, I have all types of quotes and even tatted on me, man. So I love to ask, what is your favorite quote that you lean on during the good times or the bad times? Or it could be a saying if it's not traditional quote.
Yeah. I don't know if it's something. I know it's definitely not something that I came up with, but I don't know where I've heard it from, or even if I thought of it. This is like a generic quote, but it's makes sense a lot to me, and some stuff in the Bible kind of reflects what it is. But it's the storm can't last forever, and it won't last forever. So I always think of specifically that as when disciples were on the boat with Jesus and they were freaking out, and he was like, "Yo, calm down," and he made the storm stop essentially. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just like whatever bad thing that happens isn't can't last forever, and you always have to you know be as positive as you can about situations, and yeah, I mean, it's can't last forever.
Um, that just touched me right there, man. So all my peeps and new audience, when you see this, just share that to somebody, man. Like I'm clenching my broken heart chain that I've been wearing. I decided I'm gonna take my pain and turn it into like fuel, broken heart people out here, broken heart
Mm.
warriors. I don't know if that's a thing. I probably just made that up, but that because sometimes, man, when you're in the quote unquote shitstorm,
Mm.
like sometimes you can't see the sun, like you
Mm.
can't see brighter days, but then it's like, you got to keep that in mind,
Mm.
storm ends,
Yeah.
and when the storm does end, man, that sun is bright, and
Mm.
I love that quote, man. Thank you
Mm.
for sharing that. So I,
Yeah,
I know
no
you say
problem.
you're yeah, no problem, bro. I know you say you're going to take some time off from social media to get deeper into the Bible and focus on yourself. But I just want for all my peeps to follow you and your music career. So where can they find you on social media when you decide to get back on?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Isaac Ward 70. I actually don't know what my TikTok is, so you might have to look that up. I know it's
Gotcha.
Izzy Ward, but I don't know if it's Izzy Ward 70 or what it is. I'm terrible at remembering my own usernames for social media. Like I know some people have asked me before, like in person, and I'll be like, I don't know. I have to check. Um,
I'll make
but
sure I
yeah,
put it
it's
all in the video and
yeah.
description.
Isaac Ward 70 is my Instagram. So that's everything will be posted to any videos or anything I do is going to be posted to probably both TikTok and Instagram and Facebook too. So
Awesome, man, and good luck on your journey too, man. I think that's something that's so underrated, especially in the world we live in, is social media. Like taking a break from it, man, because
mm,
like whew, you see some things
yeah,
up there that could really just drain you. You don't even realize it until you take a break. I,
yeah,
I took a month off one time, and it was the best month of my life.
yeah. And that's what I'm gonna try to do is a month. And man, it wasn't even like specific things that were getting on my nerves or anything, and it wasn't really anything bothering me. It was just that I was on it too much, and
Mm.
I was just like I'm sure you know this because you took time off, but like you will like be doing something and you'll unlock your phone and you'll go exactly where the app was. If you delete the app like I did, you'll go exactly where the app was and you hit the app and it's not Facebook or it's not Instagram and you're like, oh yeah, I deleted it. So and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it just shows that it's that much muscle memory that like idle like distraction that you have to like I think it's going to be good for me to be able to not have that distraction because it's really easy just to like to have that mind numbing like scroll on TikTok or Instagram reels and it's just like one after the other and the next thing you know 15, 20, 30 minutes goes by and you've done that and you're like oh haven't done what I was gonna said I was gonna do and
Oh
I
man,
like even just the little bit I've stayed off like I've actually done stuff and um it's been nice it's obviously been a little bit hard once it gets um when you get down or something like that, sometimes you have to deal with it and you can't distract yourself from it. So that's
mm-hmm.
one thing it's good and sometimes uh can be a little more rough, I guess. So
Definitely, and yeah, because when I took my break, it was around either I think it was March when I took like the whole March off, and it was crazy because like I got so much more stuff done, and it was just
mm,
less distraction,
mm,
and like I was like, dang, I kind of really want to go back, but I knew
mm,
podcasts, and I kind of
mm,
gotta get it out
yeah,
there. So I'm like,
yeah.
crap. So what I've been doing since I took that break was I like post my stuff and then I like get off,
Mm,
and then I,
mm,
I hate though when I run into like friends or like they'll message me or I see them, they're like, hey, did you see my post? Crap, no. What I posted on it? And I'm like, look, I try to get off as much as I can. And it's not necessarily too, like you said, if you just see too much toxic stuff. I mean, there's a lot of
mm,
toxic,
mm,
but it can, just from that muscle memory, like you said, like I mean, I knew when I had a problem was when I'm on my laptop and I'm on like Facebook or Instagram,
Mm,
whatever, and then I get off and I go sit in the living room and then I'm pulling my phone and I'm right back on it and I'm like,
yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah. I know one thing that got me was like I would be playing video games and like on loading screen, I would pull up my phone and I'm like,
Mhm.
the loading screen's not that long. Like it's
Yeah,
I'm not gonna miss anything. Like
yeah, it's not like how it was when growing up when we had the PlayStation, in PlayStation 2 days, and
mm,
where the loading screen would be like a good, four or
yeah,
5 minutes or
yeah,
longer.
yeah, yeah. No. And it's like especially like with online games, it's like, well,
Mhm.
it's not that long. There's no need for me to be on social media, like whatever it is, like TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is. I'm just like, I don't need to be on that. Like, there's no reason for me to. And it's just, I've gotten so addicted to it that like that's just any downtime. I'm like, you know, pulling your phone out and doing that. So it's just, it's just one of those things where it was like, I
Mhm.
need to step away because I'm just addicted to it. And whether you realize it or not, you get pretty addicted to social media more than you think.
It's
So,
more, yeah, way more than you think, man. Definitely.
mm,
And just one last question, Isaac. And I'm, like I said, I'm so honored to have you on the show and glad you was able to come by and we get to catch up and, talk.
mm,
But this one I love to end off is gratitude because, like I said, shout out to our heartbreak warriors out here. It's been a rough year
mm,
for myself and
mm,
even beyond. So like I like
mm,
to really look at gratitude and just being grateful for things that really just keeps me grounded, keeps me
mm,
focused. So
mm.
what are three things that you're grateful for in your life? I know it's gonna be hard to limit to three, but
Yeah,
I think that's a
yeah,
good number right there.
yeah. Well, number one, I'm grateful for my wife. She's been putting up with me, since I like really decided to do this, um, and well, as you know, it's probably gonna be more than three things, but
Yeah.
because it always is. Um, I'm grateful for my church family. Um, they've been awesome, and mentoring and not just musician wise because I play there and stuff like that, but just as friends. Yeah, as you know, like after you graduate high school and stuff, it's a little harder to make friends because all your friends are not there
Yeah,
like
just
constantly. Yeah, and you don't always keep up with them; they don't always keep up with you. So, and just life happens, kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
it's been really, really fantastic with them. And probably something simple, the roof over my head. We we were in Apex for a while, and the housing we were gonna try to get a house, but the housing market went stupid, and
Mhm.
the apartments were stupid too. They were wanting to charge us well, it was 1550, and then for one bedroom, $1,500 for a one bedroom, and then they dropped it when after I called them and talked to them, they dropped it to 1450, which is still stupid for one bedroom.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
then they posted our apartment online for 1701,
What?
and somebody picked it up. But, we had to kind of move, and um, we were trying to move obviously back down here too because it was cheaper, but
Mhm.
none of the apartments were calling us back and stuff like that. And then luckily my dad and his fiance had this house. We were going to try to buy it, but ended up following through with it's a FHA loan, so they went in and nitpick everything, and
Mhm.
but just grateful that they've allowed us to rent here and stuff. So it's
Awesome.
been really grateful that we've had a place to stay because and not to say that we wouldn't have had a place to stay had we not. I'm sure either of our families would have been like, you can stay here kind of thing, but
Mhm.
being able to stay in a house with just us and our cats is nice. So,
Definitely, man. And that is just awesome, man. And the way that everything worked out for you and
mm,
how it's gonna continue to work out. I'm excited for the
mm,
future to, see how, things are gonna go on with, your music career
mm,
and, just your journey, like getting closer to God and,
mm,
with all that going on, man. I'm really proud, real proud of you,
mm.
man.
Thanks, man. I'm proud of you too because like I said, I've saw you been doing this for, I mean, I guess 2 years now, and I was like,
Yep.
man, he's
Just
really,
about.
really doing it. Like, because like I said, a lot of people start this kind of thing and they don't keep going. And like I said, like I said, beginning like that just shows you really love it, and you're really good at it too. I mean, I have to say, like, I've a few podcasts I've watched of you, I'm like, those are really good questions, and like the way you bring them about and the conversation you have and everything is always really good. It's very natural. It's not like you're, forcing it as much. I mean, you can tell you've prepared the questions, but that's not you prepare questions. That's what you do,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So, um, but you bring them up in a natural way and stuff like that. So it's been awesome to see
Thank you.
you continuously keep going and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, a lot, man, for real. And like I said, thank you again for being on the show.
Mm.
Anyone you want to shout out before we wrap up, and just giving thanks for always supporting you and being there for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously my parents and stuff. But my one of my good friends, Twan Timmons, Perfect Peace Music on Instagram. Um, I keep reaching him to the phone like I'm gonna go check what the username is, but I don't have it on my phone right now, so I can't do that.
It's that muscle
It's
memory.
yeah, it's Perfect Peace Music, I think, is on Instagram. He's been uh somebody that has helped me a lot here in the past year and a half, 2 years or so. I mean, he's been um just a good mentor because he's been doing music um like as his career for a while, and he's been you know helping me helping me out with not just connections and stuff, but just as a friend and stuff. It's been awesome, been really appreciated to have that friendship. So
Awesome, man. Isaac Ward, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, man, again for being part of the show. And I can't wait for this to come out. All my peeps, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share, comment. Say hello to Isaac. I'll put all his
yeah,
stuff in the
yeah,
in the description and in the video as well.
yeah. All right,
Oh.
thanks. Yeah, I'll probably pop in and on Facebook and share it on there too, and probably Instagram. I'll probably pop in and share it, and then I'll pop back off. Kind of thing. So,
Yeah, don't check their phone. I promise. I'm gonna be
yeah,
tagging you in a lot of different things. I'm gonna feel bad because I know, like, dang, you're trying to get off social media. I'm gonna tag you in
yeah.
something for like
Well,
5 days
so
straight.
I have it deleted off my phone right now, so I'm literally gonna like download it to share it,
Mhm.
or I might just hop on my computer and do it, and just hop off and delete it because I know if I see a notification, I'm gonna go check it. I can't
Mhm.
like I'm one of those people that can't have notifications on their phone. It bothers me so bad. Like I
Mhm.
have to get rid of the notification. I don't even care like what it is. If it's like, junk mail or whatever it is on my email, I have to hit red on it because I can't have that number. Like I haven't had something that's red because I'm always like, well, what if it's something important? Kind
Uh-huh.
of thing.
This is important with an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
But seriously, good luck in your journey, man, for real. And
Thanks,
I
man.
I can't wait to talk to you, a month later to,
Mm,
check up on you and see
mm,
how, just refreshed you're gonna feel, man.
mm,
I'm telling you, I feel all my peeps and new audience definitely take a break from social media. You're gonna open your eyes a little bit to how much time
mm,
you waste and how much time you or how much new things you're gonna do without having
mm.
to be on social media. Well,
Yeah,
thanks again,
definitely.
Isaac, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this to come out. You have a good one, brother.
All right, you too.
All right, brother.